Okay, let's start letting folks in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Piano Tech Radio Hour. It's great to see you again. We're starting to really get back in the swing of things here. Life is returning to the new normal, getting our vaccines and getting out there, feeling a little bit safer. Good stuff. Good to see you all. I'll just wait a minute for a few people to join us, and we'll sort of get started with today's session. But yeah, we're live on Facebook and YouTube too. So hi to everyone out there that's checking us out on the live stream. And I see Dave Skolnick's here. I see familiar faces: Ron Engel, Linda Kay, Ernest Unrau. Yeah, we got our regulars here. It's really great to have you guys always back checking us out. I see it. Let's see here. Paul. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you, Ethan?
Good.
Palawazik.
Palawazik. Have you been joining us before a lot? I haven't talked to you.
No, not a lot. A while ago, but not
Okay.
recently.
Cool. Where are you located?
I just moved to Cincinnati, but I was in Milwaukee, so I'm familiar with.
You know about this? You know about this guy, Bill?
A little bit, yeah. He came and spoke with us once, and I visited him in Madison. So yeah.
You got any beefs with Bill over there from the?
Oh, all kinds. Of course, we're fellow technicians, right? No, none at all.
That's good. Me neither. All right, cool. Well, I'll start to get rolling here as the stragglers start joining us. I'll give a little intro to what's going on. So this is Piano Tech Radio Hour. It's being brought to you by Piano Technicians Masterclasses, an online educational resource that offers you cutting-edge instruction from piano industry masters without leaving your home. You can find out more at www.pianotechniciansmasterclass.com. And on today's show, let me let a few more people in here. First of all, I'll say last week we didn't see much of David Anderson, but he did join us late. It's just that Ken Eshte had a pretty packed presentation for us, so we didn't get to check in with David. This week, David's out. He's not actually feeling well, so keep him in your thoughts. And he hopes to be back next week. So we're all thinking about him, and looking forward to having him join us again. I will give an intro to today's guest. He's been with us before, and we like him, so we brought him back. And his name is Bill Monroe. And I'll give you a little bit of background on him. After graduating from school at Montana State University in Bozeman in wildlife ecology, his career took a detour around 1999. He decided to tune pianos full time. He's the owner of A440 Piano Service in Belleville, Wisconsin. Bill first began piano tuning and servicing in Bozeman, Montana in 1999. 2003, he moved his business to Verona, Wisconsin, and relocated to Belleville, Wisconsin in December 2005. He learned the trade studying the Randy Potter School of Piano Technology and by working with other piano techs. As an RPT member of the PTG, he feels that continuing education is extremely important and therefore continues to attend various professional seminars, conventions sponsored by PTG. Also seeks educational opportunities outside of PTG and has been instructing as well as learning. So we appreciate him joining us for a convention there back in December and giving a great presentation. So yeah, Bill, how are you doing today?
I'm lovely. I can't complain. Work has been exceptionally good. I guess my one complaint is I'm struggling with how to say no sometimes. And I think I've finally found my limit. I've spent lots of time in my life just kind of growing in business and engaging in more and more activities and finding a way to make it work. And things have gotten really busy lately, which as far as complaints go, that's a pretty benign complaint.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I heard a good way actually how to say no recently. I forget who it was. Is this guy's kind of like a really busy guy, like maybe like a business uh, consultant guy you might have heard of, and he was like traveling on business, but he brought his kid along, and they had planned like a day at the zoo, the local zoo or something, and he ran into like a colleague, and the colleague said, "Oh, hey, let's go get lunch and let's go hang out." And he said, he was talking to the guy, and he said, "Oh, I'd really love to do this. Like, that sounds like a great idea. So I'm really excited about going out to lunch with you." And meanwhile, I think his daughter's telling the story, and she's starting to get disappointed, right? Because she's had this day at the zoo plan with her dad, and now she's going to hang out with this friend and, kind of miss out on all that. But yeah, he continues, he's like, "This sounds really great. It's really great to see you. I'm really excited about going lunch with you, but I can't because I have a date, with my daughter, and we're going to go to the zoo today." So it's a nice way of saying it, where you don't just say no, but you kind of definitely let people know that you appreciate whatever opportunities on the table, and say it with grace. So I'm going to be trying to do that more often, because we all have to choose our no's.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we're in your shop today, which I don't think we've ever been there before. What kind of stuff is going on in the shop lately?
Well, should I just start with the tour?
You can start with the tour. You can tell us about stuff, whatever feels good to you. And also, right, I'll say this too before we start walking around. If anybody has questions that come up for Bill, that can also direct the conversation. And so we're in his shop. He's probably going to tour us around a little bit, tell us what he's working on, show us how he keeps things organized. But if anybody has a question that comes up and, we get into it, that's fine. We can go a different direction, right?
Yeah. So, well, let me just start with, I'll do the verbal, I guess. And, things in the shop right now, it's about to get really messy in here, but behind me you can see an early 1900s Steinway O, which is that was a spec project that started with COVID. I have some spec pianos in here that I keep stored for just such occasions, and COVID gave me an opportunity to pull that down and get started on it. So that one's nearing completion, actually. I'm at the point where everything's strung up and ready to go. The action's basically put back together. Need to put a back action in it and throw the dampers in, and then essentially regulate it out, and it'll be ready to go. So then it'll be up for sale or whatever. And then, well, I'll do the half tour. I'll go behind me. So I have a Mason and Hamlin 50 right there that's in for new hammers. That's getting close, kind of tucked away behind the bench there. Underneath the cloth is a Steinway M that's going to be assessed. It's filled with verdigris, so the piano is likely going to be getting a new action as soon as the owners agree to it. There's an action over on the bench over there for another piano that I just picked up last week, which is getting new action parts and some other work done with trap work and lyre, etc. And then I've got a couple more. I've got another upright restoration coming in, an upright rehab coming in, and I still have to go, and I was just at another piano yesterday, and I have to write up that estimate for another upright that we're going to do some work to. And it, like in the last month, things have just exploded. And actually there's one other piano back there that's set up right now, which is just a hack piano. I have a student for the first time in the shop, learning tuning and repair and all of that good stuff that we can do in the shop. And so we have a piano back there that's basically sacrificial. We can do whatever we want to it. And that's great. So a lot going on in the shop right now. Yeah. And at the moment,
can I ask a couple questions?
Please. Yeah.
I got two that came up for me, and you answered the first one. And that's like, do you bring in people to help you on these projects and things? So it sounds like you've got one person, but they're relatively new. Maybe they're not super useful.
Right.
Is there anybody else that's there to kind of support?
No. And this has kind of been, it's been part of my way of doing work. I'm a bit type A. I have certain ways that I like to do things, and I want to, among other things, when things leave my shop, my name's on them, and I want to make sure that they're done to the level that I think they should be done to. So it's been a challenge. I have 2 young boys, 14 and 17 now, and they've helped me on and off with tasks that are repetitive enough that I can teach them quickly and they can do some things for me. But yeah, it'll be interesting. With a student that I have, she's progressing pretty nicely and really seems to enjoy the shop element of things. So we'll see where that goes. That may end up being a source of assistance for me, but currently it's just me. And so, yeah, I heard a phrase one time from Dale Irwin, and the phrase that he said was something like, just say yes, figure it out later. And so and it served me well. I mean, because ultimately, I guess that's kind of what I feel like is if I've needed it. And I do have a buddy here in Madison that is a skilled rebuilder technician. And he's joined us a few times, I think, here on Radio Hour as well. And so if I really get in a bind and I just need some help, then, I can lean on him a little bit too, though he's relatively busy also. So it's right. Yeah, it'll be interesting here in the next 6 months or so.
Now, the other question I had was, you said this piano in the background is one on spec, and maybe you bring in pianos or you have a few like hanging out. And I was just curious, like the stories, or if there's a pattern behind how you acquire those pianos. Are they just something that somebody's wanting to donate? You pick it up? Is it for sale? Do you look for these things? How are you getting a hold of the pianos that you bring in to, kind of fix up speculatively?
Sure. Most of them just come from my relationships in the field with my clients. Or, I might find them. I don't do a lot of active looking because I think one thing I've learned with, almost 20 years of having a shop is that pianos tend to find you. And here's another instance of figuring out how to say no sometimes to things. There's that Steinway that's almost done, thankfully. But then I have 4 others just kind of stacked on the wall in the back of the shop. A couple of Mason and Hamlins, another Steinway, and a 1900s Blüthner. And, the three of those instruments were clients, or, through a client that I was made aware of them. And one of the things that I have learned for myself once I started getting busy too was, like, as much as a piano could be fantastic, I had an opportunity with a Weber Grand, a 6'2" or 6'3" or something like that. Weber Grand, gorgeous, beautiful veneer, elegant carving, just a phenomenal looking instrument. And a lot of those early 1900s pianos, grand pianos, they can all be world-class instruments if you put the right work into them. The problem, of course, is that they don't have that market value that a Steinway or Mason and Hamlin does just by awareness. And so it can be a tough sell to take these off-brand instruments and not lose your shirt on them, unless you have a lot of patience and can find just the right buyer and that's willing to pay what they're worth because they like that uniqueness. But anyway, it's been difficult because I've had a few of these come in, like Henry Miller's and Weber's, and I had a Bush and Lane in here at one time that I thought, oh, that's a cool piano, I'll grab that. Now I tend to say no to most of those instruments. Right. But stick with something that's going to have some sort of reasonable market value just by name.
Cool. All right. Well, was there anything else you want to say before kind of showing us around a little bit?
No.
Okay, cool.
Let's walk around.
I'll say this before we transition there. If people are watching on Facebook and YouTube, I'm going to put a link in the chat real quick because we'll sign off the live stream. But if you want to join us on Zoom, there'll be a link in the chat to register. So we'll see you in here if you join us. Okay, cool.
All right. Well, I'm not sure the best way to do this. I wonder if I can turn. Do you know if I can turn this around?
You can turn the camera around. I think it's like in the lower right-hand corner or something after you tap the screen. can sort of show what you're looking at. And I can, if anybody's on their phone and they figure that out too, you can share with us the thing.
I don't, unless it's in like meeting settings.
Yeah, I think if you just like tap the screen, I'm trying to figure out, I don't have my phone with me right here. You can just like tap the screen and it shows up that little camera with the
corner.
Upper left.
Hey, there you go. You did
awesome. So now I can look and see. Okay, so first I have to start out with my older son is 17. He's far more talented academically than his father ever was. This is what he loves to make fun of. You can see this cord coming from my house out to my shop.
We'll say you're not an electrician. Or
that's my Ethernet.
That's your Ethernet. Nice.
So I wanted a direct connection this time because it was bad the last time. But anyway, so he loves to make fun of my technical abilities. But anyway, so my shop, I designed this building, or we built this. Gosh, it's been 16, 17 years, I guess, since we built it. Specifically for having work as a piano shop. So we did rough it in up around here where above the doors in case somebody wanted to put an overhead door in at some point. But for now, all I have is just double French doors at the front for an entry.
So are you saying you constructed this building or just modified it, or what's the
no, we built
there?
It. We built
Cool.
it. So my father-in-law and my grandfather-in-law and I built the building. We contracted out the concrete. We contracted HVAC. And that's about it. We pretty much built everything else. Yeah. So it's still,
impressive.
You know, it's a work in progress, but it's been a good project.
Awesome.
So walking in, I've got some storage right away, right by the door. And you'll notice it is a mixed use building. It's almost exclusively my shop, but I am a cyclist and I keep my bike stuff out here hanging on my ceiling.
We got to see the secret fishing poles on the other ceiling when you were changing the camera.
And there's the fishing pole. So those are my two indulgences in my shop, I guess. So yeah, power panel, refrigerator for glues and that kind of stuff that I want to keep cold. Probably one of the most important parts in the middle of that screen is my sound system. I've got things, well, you can't see one back in behind, but there's 4 good speakers throughout the shop, and I always have music on. The silence is wasted music listening time for me. So lots of glues and lubricants and supplies and stuff right away walking in, some reference materials, etc. And this is a little bit of a blast from the past, the library card catalog from many years ago, which is a parts cabinet for me.
Well, that's cool. It's got a little desk ledge coming out of it too. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, because back in the day when you were looking up books, you had to you pull out the whole drawer of, if you were looking up the card catalog, you had to pull it out and set it out, and you could look through. And
I remember those days. We'll tell our children about that. Yeah, you can tell and show your children. You can also show them a picture of a cassette tape.
Yeah, I still have some of those. So yeah, and I kind of have a little